Very good morning once again. Now, let me ask you something before we begin. And I want you to think, not just here. If someone showed you the first chapter of a book, just the first chapter, would you judge the entire book by it? Of course not. That would be absurd, right? And yet, every single day, millions of us do exactly that with our own lives, with our own money. We read the first chapter, the one we didn't even write, and we say, this is my story, and this is all it will ever be. So today, I want to challenge that belief gently, honestly, and I think by the time we are done here, you'll see your financial life in a way you've never quite seen it before. Your past income does not define your future wealth. Yeah, please listen to it, embrace it, understand it, think about it. Your past income does not define your future wealth. Most of us were handed a financial story before we could even count. If you grew up hearing, Paisa haath ka mael hai, you know, people love to say this. Money is just dirt on your hands. You probably didn't grow up thinking you could build wealth. You grew up thinking money is something you earn, spend, and worry about, not something you grow. And if you grew up watching your mother fold every rupee 100 note carefully before putting it in a steel dabba hidden under the saris, you learn that money is scarce, precious, and secret. And if your father came home every month, handed over the salary to the family, and by the 25th of the month, everyone in the house was doing mental maths on how to stretch the last rupee 500, you probably learned that this is just how life works. Now, these are not bad people. These are not wrong lessons. These were survival stories. But here's the thing survival basically survival stories are not prosperity stories. And you sitting here today are not just surviving. You're capable of so much more. Okay, let me paint you three pictures. Tell me if any of them feel familiar. Story one, it's about a working woman. Priya is 32. She has a good job. She earns rupees 60,000 a month. And yet, on the 28th of every month, she's texting her husband, थोड़ा online transfer करना, मेरे account में कम है. She spends on her family, on her in-laws, on the kids, school trips, on everything, except herself. She has no savings, no investments, and she tells herself, जब increment आएगा, तब start करूंगी. The increment comes, the expenses grow, the story stays the same. Story number two, the homemaker. Let me tell you about Sunita. She's 45. She doesn't earn, or so she believes. Her husband handles the money. She manages the house, the children, the groceries, the relatives, the festivals, and somehow she always make it work. But when someone asks her, Sunita ji, आपकी अपनी कोई savings है? She laughs and says, अरे मैं तो घर की हूँ. And she has managed a budget worth lakhs every year for 20 years. And yet she doesn't think of herself as financially capable. That is a story, a wrong one. Now, the men who won't ask. Story number three is Rahul, 28, newly employed. He opened a trading account last year because his friends were doing it. He lost 40,000, the money he had saved from 2 months of salary. And now he says, यार ये सब ना मुझसे नहीं होगा. मेरा luck ही खराब. Rahul didn't lose money because of luck. He lost money because nobody taught him how. And instead of learning, he wrote himself out of the story altogether. So, three people, three very different lives, one identical problem. They're living someone else's financial story. So, let me know who can relate with this one. Was I able to tell somebody's story who is present here? You can always write me in the chat box if that was you. Okay. Moving further. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Financial identity, just like any identity. Let me tell you, it is not fixed. Yes, it's always fixed by us. It's not stamped on you at birth. It's not sealed by your last salary slip. It's not decided by your parents' bank balance. It is a story, and stories can be rewritten. You know what's the most underrated financial tool available to every single person in this room? Not a stock, not a mutual fund, not a savings account. It's belief, followed immediately by skill. Priya doesn't need a bigger salary. She needs to believe she deserves to keep some of what she earns and then learn a system to do it. Even 3,000 a month in a SIP started today becomes something extraordinary in 10 years. Sunita doesn't need her husband's permission. She needs to see that the women who can stretch a grocery budget for 5 people is the same women who can manage an investment portfolio. The skill is already there and it just needs a new channel. And I'm sure you people can remember when a couple of years back there was demonetization. घर में लेडीज के पास से ज्यादा पैसा निकला था बनस्पत मेन के. And the husbands had no clue कि घर में वो पैसे रखे हैं. And Rahul, he doesn't need luck. He needs financial education, which I promise you is far cheaper than the losses that came without it. So some of you might be thinking, यार मैं तो 19 साल का हूं, यार सब मुझ पे कहाँ लागू होता है. Great news. You're sitting on a gold mine called time. That's why we say sooner the better. Compound interest is basically magic, and it works best for people who start early. You don't need 10,000 to invest. You need rupees 500 and a habit. And even 500 is more. There are apps like Grow, which help you start investing with as little as rupees 100. So, some of you might be thinking, मैं तो 42 की हूं, अब क्या होगा? Yes, किसी को जल्दी का चैलेंज है तो किसी को बाद का चैलेंज है. But more great news, you have experience, discipline, and probably more wisdom about what truly matters than any 22-year-old sitting in a fancy office. It's never too late to begin. And the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So I want to leave you with this. Every book ever written was at some point a blank page. Your financial story, no matter where it has been, has blank pages ahead. White, empty, full of possibility. The question is not whether you can afford to rewrite it. The question is, will you pick up the pen? You're not your father's debt. You're not your mother's fear. You're not your last salary. You are every financial decision you have not yet made. And so, before we close today, I have one small exercise for you. Not homework. Think of it as a gift to yourself. Take a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone right now. Step one, your old money story. Yes. Write one paragraph about the financial story you have been carrying, your beliefs, the fears, the limitations. Be honest. No one is reading but you. So be brutally honest, I would say. What is your story? Then step two, now rewrite it. Not as a fantasy, as a decision. Write the financial story of the person you are choosing to become starting today. Keep it, read it when doubt creeps in, update it as you grow because your story is never over. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.